telephone etiquette. Technical difficulties, sorry. Okay, the three main points that I'll be covering in this telephone etiquette presentation is before you pick up the receiver, attitude is everything, and closing the deal. First is preparation. You have to be completely prepared in order to make your first phone call. Are you mentally ready? You have to know the purpose and the goal of your phone call before you even make it. You have to also have the proper materials. Sorry. Make sure you check all facts and figures before you make your phone call. Nothing is worse for someone who's unprepared. Do you have the proper knowledge? Determine whether it's even important for you to make the phone call. Sometimes it actually takes less time and money for a company if you maybe respond with an email or something like that. But only use this if it's absolutely necessary, number one, and number two, if you know that this person frequently checks their emails. The arrangements. It's always proper to make arrangements with your supervisor. Meet every morning. Make sure you go over your total schedule for the day. Company policies. Every company has a policy, and I'm sure every company has a policy for their telephone. Always try to do some research just in case you don't know what it is. Scheduling. Whenever you're scheduling, make sure you always verify the dates, and make sure you keep a calendar next to you so you can verify those dates. And sometimes it's actually a little easier to make sure you can actually see the days of the week. Some people have problems with dates, so rather than saying, oh, let's get together March 17th, oh, next Wednesday, next Thursday, they'll remember this a little bit better. Okay, and messages. You always want to make sure you and your manager go over exactly where they want their messages. Nothing's worse than for you to leave an important message and they not get it because they don't know where it is. Okay. You should always make sure you utilize your workspace. Nothing's worse, again, same thing, where you can't find anything because you don't know where you put it. As in my picture, you have a nice little cubicle where you can clearly, you're able to see everything and anything. Where, and of course that also goes into where is everything, and make sure you know exactly how you set up your station. Always make sure you keep pencils, pens, notepads, a watch or clock to note time, company extensions, and of course a telephone. Know your equipment. Everyone, of course, has all kinds of telephone equipment, like you see in my picture. But you have to know what exactly they are, what their functions are, and what's even possible for them to do. And of course, how it works. Every piece of equipment is totally different, so you have to know which one you have and what best meets your needs. Attitude is absolutely everything. We all know that it's not exactly what you say, it's how you say it. So you should always make sure that you realize on the phone, all you have is your voice. You don't have your eye contact, your posture, things like that. So your voice has to be pleasant enough for someone to actually be okay with it. Whenever you are on the phone, you should always smile. Because of course, eye contact and posture, everything else like that. But just with just a simple hello, someone can tell whether you're sad, mad, bored, or just irritated. So always try to make sure you remember to smile. And also, smiling loosens your vocal cords and creates a more relaxed feeling in the tone of your voice. And it also realigns your throat muscles and causes your voice, of course, to be softer and your mouth to be more open and your jaws to be less tense. Tone, of course, sets your tone. Make sure that whenever you're speaking to someone, you speak slowly enough where they can actually understand you, about maybe the same pace as the person who you're actually talking to. You can't be too loud or too soft. When you're talking on the phone, try to hold it at least about 1.5 inches away from your mouth. If you hold it too close, you can get misunderstood. If you hold it too far, then they can't even hear you. So, about 1.5 inches. vary the pitch in order to actually sound a little interesting. If you're totally monotone, someone will get bored and ready to hang up on you. So the perfect pitch is actually right above your most perfect tone. That'll actually keep someone interested in the whole entire conversation. The 4 steps of listening are sensing. This means you have to be aware of what someone's actually saying to you and be ready to actually listen to it. Interpreting. This involves identifying what someone said so you can actually understand what the speaker's meaning is. Evaluating. It forces you to think about what was actually said. It makes you respond to what they said, which responding is the last step of it, and it requires for you to make a statement verbally about what's said. Now, active listening. This is a chart where it can actually help you to enunciate and properly identify different letters and words, maybe in a name spelling or a address or something like that. This I'll pass out for everyone later so they can actually get a good look into it. And of course, when you are practicing active listening, you have to ask questions. And while you're asking questions, it helps you to filter out what information you're actually getting. You might actually get a whole lot of information that you really don't need, so you have to figure out what information you're getting so you can figure out how to best suit the needs of your caller. Tact. Tact is how you can always handle yourself in a professional manner. Not everyone always uses tact, but if you don't, you can always wind up losing your customers or your reputation. So you always have to know what to say and what not to say. When knowing what to say, give your name and always choose your words carefully. What not to say is avoid disclosing too much personal information and keep calls brief and private. How to handle these is always keep your composure. I'm pretty sure that most of us will be dealing with customers in some way or another, and we've all dealt with irate people on the phone. Always try to make sure you keep your composure. And always give a slight pause, and no matter what, respond politely to these irate customers. Express your regret and check with them to see if there's anything else that you can do for them. Now this is a little example of it's not always what you say, it's how you say it. So say if you know the person's name that you're calling, if you would say something like Adrian Lloyd, please, that lets the person on the other line know that this is someone who you know for a great deal, and they'll put you right through. But if you were to say something like Mr. Lloyd, please, they don't think that you're on a first name basis with this person, and they'll actually just go ahead and put you on hold, which might upset you a little bit. So always try to think about the proper way to say things. We all know what distractions are. We have plenty of them in our lives as regular people, so you have to know what distracts you and how to deal with them. And remember to always try to keep them at a minimum, because no matter what, even if a mouthpiece of a receiver is covered, even things like keystrokes can be heard. So try to keep it to the overall. This is another example of when you have more than one caller possibly coming in. So these are a couple steps for you to follow. When you have, of course, more than one caller, you put number one, you put the caller on hold, then you answer the next call. Then if you can complete that call quickly, you do as much as you can with that person, then you go back to the original call. Taking notes. That can be a little tricky to handle. 90% of notes contain incorrect information. So include as much correct information as possible to help the caller. Enunciate clearly and use words to identify spellings. Ending conversations. Sometimes you have to end conversations quickly because they go on and on and on and on. And it takes definite tact to end calls shortly. Here I have 2 examples. One's a good one, one's a bad one. Good end, I'm sorry to cut this short, but I have a visitor waiting for me. A bad end, which I'm pretty sure some of us have said sometimes, I'm very busy and I have more important things to take care of. You should never say that to a customer, ever. That might lead to your termination. Leaving messages. Because of technology, the messages that we leave are completely different than what they may have been maybe 5 or 10 years ago. So is it even necessary for you to leave a message? And if so, make sure you know exactly what message what information that you need to leave in that message. And the best method of contact later on. Sometimes you may be able to leave a phone number. Sometimes again, it might be better to leave an email message. So you have to definitely determine which one is better. Being proactive. What exactly is being proactive? It means going above and beyond customers' expectations. Always go through any of your messages promptly and get rid of these messages promptly too. Just go above and beyond all measures and try to do as much as you possibly can for any of your customers. Okay. In conclusion, in this presentation, I've given you many tips for consideration. I hope that everyone has learned valuable tips in which you've already begun to practice active listening, note-taking, and becoming proactive. Thank you very much.